Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today on O Face Wrestling. This is your host JT, and today on the Glorious Talk episode 15, I am joined by Krista B from Those Wrestling Girls. And today we're gonna
Hi,
be
y'all.
and today we're gonna be talking about the whole Tessa Blanchard situation that's been, blowing up on social media. So, Krista, so on Saturday night, Tessa posted a tweet and it said, "Hey, women, try supporting one another. Cool things happen." After she posted that tweet, just like Twitter just blew up. So many women that has worked with Tessa in the past started calling her out about it. And I'm just going to
hmm
read over some of the more notable tweets. Chelsea Green, who actually currently works for WWE right now, she retweeted that and said that you've constantly put down, bullied, and belittled countless female coworkers, including me. Is this that support? And then also Isla Dawn said, as someone who experienced your bullying firsthand, received regular verbal abuse, was spat on, had rumors spread about me, dealt with multiple attempts by you to the blacklist me from the other companies, plus more. I just pray you now follow your own advice. And also Sienna, who is sister with Seth Rollins, she even made a comment on it saying, "Remember when you spat in a black woman's face and called her the N word in Japan? Was that you supporting women?" And there's many more comments that people made, but those are some of the more notable ones. So how do you feel about that situation?
I mean, there is so much to unpack about the situation. I don't agree with any of what Tessa Blanchard has said in regards to how everybody is bringing up things about her, but I also don't agree with everybody bringing up thing about her when she was set on to make history the following night. I feel like if this was an issue, because there's always racism in wrestling, there's always going to be um, some naysaying, some negativity. And as a woman of color, I'm personally am tired of it. I know I could speak for P when I know she's tired of it, and it shouldn't be happening in 2020. Like it should have been stopped a long time ago, even though it hasn't. But I'm not surprised at the comments. I'm just more so tired of them. I'm tired of them. And for you to want to sit here and say, "Oh, let's support each other because nobody's supporting you," and they pulled up all of these receipts, it's just like you need to really watch what you say and how you say it, because what you say can come back and bite you in the ass, and that's technically what it did to her. It bit her in the ass.
Hmm. Yeah, I think with Tessa, like, I think that she kind of, I mean, this is just an assumption. Maybe she has that like mentality that she's better than the other women, and that carries over to how her vibe that she carries backstage. Because anyone who's a fan of her knows that she wrestles the men a lot. It could be a, hey, I'm too good to wrestle other women. Let me wrestle the men. Like, that could be a mentality that she has backstage. And
Right.
it could rub a lot of women off it, because it could be like, hey, you don't want to wrestle me because I'm a woman. You're wrestling the men kind of thing, versus people looking at it as, oh, she's breaking ground. She's, promoting intergender wrestling, which is opening up the doors for women. So it's kind of like both sides there. I think there's
hmm
definitely a lot of good to it, and there's a lot of bad. It just goes based off of how she carries herself backstage at the end of the day. I mean, I don't know how she does. None of us do, because we're not backstage with her. But that's just kind of my opinion on some of the frustrations and all that's been, a lot of these wrestlers have invented about her. And also, like, you mentioned, like, the timing. It seems like it was bad timing that, this controversy came out the day before the biggest match of her life. And
Right.
I think part of it was, the tweet. If this tweet never was sent, would all this have surfaced? Probably not. I just think it was just built up frustration, like you said. Like, why wasn't this, brought up in the past? I think part of it was fear. Kind of not just like in the wrestling industry, just at a job. Anytime, you have that one employee who's like heavily favored by, management, which is what I'm probably assuming that Tessa was, her being such a big deal. I'm sure every company that she worked for, the management there probably treated her like, God's gift from heaven, and they probably allowed her to get away with these things. So it was kind of, why should I, stand up to, the company's top draw? It could hurt me. So I think people just kept quiet because of that, because of just the fear of maybe getting lowballed or, not booked or jobbed out or whatever. And so when one person, stood up to her and posted that tweet, I think it just opened up the floodgates and it made everyone else feel more comfortable about speaking up on this.
I agree with that. But I also feel like it shouldn't have to have taken that one tweet when the time where, even if you don't like her or whatever, she still set out to make all of this history for these other women and pave the way. You understand?
Yeah.
So for it to happen that way, it sucks. It sucks really bad that it happened to her in that way. But I also feel like the situation she needed to bring light to the situation.
Yeah, and
or they needed to bring light to the situation, because it's not tolerated at all. Like, it shouldn't be tolerated. Like I said, we're in 2020. Why are we still calling Black people the N-word? Why are we still spitting in other people's face? There was also another tweet that she called a fan, a little girl who was looking up to her. She told her to get out my way, you Mexican, to a little girl.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, it was in those series of tweets. And it's just like, you have little girls who look up to you. You're paving the way for these young women, for these young girls, and you calling her a Mexican and telling her to get out of your way. And she came to see you.
Yeah, that's just sad right there. I mean, that's just total disrespect. I mean, I don't know if that's how she was raised, just to be disrespectful, or if she kind of built her own ego throughout her success in the wrestling, business. But I mean, your fans are everything, and some wrestlers may or may not realize it, but your fans make you who you are. Like, if you're not being cheered, if people aren't buying tickets for you, then you're not worth, you're not worth nothing to the, the companies and all that. Why, like Tessa, like, people pay to see her. She's probably the reason why Impact is even still a company. Like,
a company, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you're going to treat your fans like that, especially a little kid. It doesn't even have to be a kid. It could have been an adult. Like, it's still
anybody.
Not, yeah,
it's not right. It's not right. It's not feasible. It's not what. Hold on, Cameron. It's not what you should do, as you call yourself paving the way for others to come behind you. Like, I don't know if she was raised like this, but I'm pretty sure there aren't these bad stories about your dad. And your dad is a legend. Like, he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, if it is, you got to remember the time period that they grew up in. Yeah. That's just what it is. But for her, I don't agree with anything that she has said about anybody, any person of color, because that's not what you do. That's not what you do at all.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like when you're trying to kind of promote like diversity, like what she's doing has just been like amazing. Like, women wrestling with men, like, you're showing that, you could be a different, gender or race, and you can, accomplish all these milestones, and then go out there and say stuff like that. Like, it's really heartbreaking, because
it's sad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was personally becoming a big fan of her, and I was looking forward to watching Impact just for her. And now it's like I don't even feel comfortable watching her on TV anymore because of that.
I want to also touch back on something that you said about you don't know if she kind of walks around the arena that way or whatever the case may be, like that. I feel like the way that she is on camera is the way that she is off of camera. Like, she is her persona. She's probably just that cocky. She's probably just that mean, just with her head so far up her ass. Like, she walks around like her shit doesn't stink. And I feel like that's exactly the type of person that she is. She's just really showing us who she is on camera, especially now because she has this title. Like, she's the first woman ever to hold a men's title. She has it. So now it's just like, you really can't tell me nothing. And it's sad. Like, it's really, really sad. Also, I saw that Big Swole actually took to Twitter as well to tell a story about I think it's La Rosa. But then I saw that Jabba Tears was just trying to not turn the story around, but give the side that they said that they knew, and how people were bullying her too. And like I told you, women are vindictive. Like, they would say, yeah, I support you, would be the first ones to stab you in the back because it's not them in that spot.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to grab that brass ring. So there's always three sides to a story. The two sides and then the truth. So maybe she did that. Maybe Tessa did that because, she was defending herself, or whatever the case may be like that. I'm not saying that's what it is. Or maybe the other people are right. At the end of the day, it's all wrong. Completely wrong. It should have never been said.
Yeah, exactly. Like, two wrongs don't make a right, even if she was standing up for herself. That's not the way to do it.
Right. I agree.
Making racist comments, spitting in people's face, or just being disrespectful in general, like, even if it wasn't making those kind of you still, that's not how you carry yourself. Like, you have to carry yourself as a role model. And what she did, well, actually, what makes the whole thing even worse, in my opinion, after she won that title on Sunday night, supposedly
the speech she gave.
Yeah, like,
I saw it.
Don't like me, I'm your champion now, or something like that. That just really shows the kind of ego,
that she has.
Because that was real. I highly doubt that was scripted or anything like that. That was her being herself, and we got to see the real Tessa Blanchard, in the ring versus what we hear backstage. So that just made it even worse and make people even dislike her even more.
Right. I mean, there were a lot of people in the video. Some were chanting, "You deserve it." Other people were chanting, "No, you don't." And then that's when she kept saying, I don't really care what you say about me, what you tweet about me, what you think about me, because at the end of the day, I did it. And it was really, it was very uncomfortable to watch. Like, I had to keep stopping and starting to watch it, because I'm just like, a part of me is just like, yo, you're a sad excuse for a woman. The next part of me is just like, yo, I want to beat your ass. Like, spit in my face, I dare you. Call me the N-word, I dare you. Like, that wrestling stuff is cool, but when you street fight, you street fight. Like, when you have a real fight, you have a real fight. That wrestling stuff goes out the window.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's very uncomfortable to watch. And it's like, what do you tell the little girls who look up to you? Like, how would their parents explain that to them? Who look to wrestling as an outlet, who look to wrestling as a way of self-expression, or as a way of, I want to be this when I grow up because I want to be just like Tessa. How do you explain to them that their favorite female wrestler is a racist?
Exactly. Like, that I could just imagine that breaking into, like, a little fan's heart and all. Like, I mean, I'm part of the reason why, like, me, like, I'm a big Ember Moon fan. Part of the reason why I like her is because she's very much against bullying. She grew up being bullied. So if I found out that she was secretly, like, or quietly doing that kind of stuff backstage, I wouldn't know what to think, Like, just imagine a diehard Tessa Blanchard fan, a little 8-year-old, hearing about all this or experiencing it like that one little girl, that just has to be just so heartbreaking.
Right. It really is. My heart goes out to the little girl she called the Mexican, the person she spit on, the people, like, all of that. My heart goes out to all of them, because nobody deserves to be disrespected in that way. I don't even care. In wrestling, you're going to have those jobbers. You're going to have those people who are going to throw stuff at you and things like that, or whatever. You're going to have that. And if you don't have the thick and tough skin to handle it, then you shouldn't be in this business.
No.
Period.
Exactly. So what do you think the future holds for her now? Because she did still win the, the heavyweight, championship. Do you think do you think they're going to go as planned and just keep doing things the way they were? Or you think they're going to change things?
I think they're going to see how things run. Like, at least I can say with Vince, if something was to really get out of hand, he'll pull it right away. Pull it immediately. But with whoever's in charge of Impact, because I'm really not too sure at the moment, I feel like they're just going to continue with it, run with it, play off of the fans' feelings, not really caring about the genuineness of it, and that's it. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, because I kind of feel like they have no choice because they invested so much into the storyline. This was a rivalry that's been going on for several months.
Yeah, and I've seen clips of them too, like, going at it tooth and nail, hardcore matches and street fights, and yeah, so I've seen it, but it still doesn't make it. It doesn't leave a good taste in people's mouths who came out to see, who has been supporting her since day one.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to know what her father has to say.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm assuming he doesn't have a Twitter, or does he?
I don't know, but I doubt he'll say anything.
Yeah, if I were him, I'd probably keep quiet on it, because when you even if it's like, your family member, when you defend someone who's clearly like in the wrong, it just makes the situation worse. The best thing for them both to do is just kind of keep quiet about it.
Yeah.
You can make, a verbal apology on Twitter or something like that, but that's still, like, people don't forget that kind of stuff. Like Hulk Hogan, what he did, people still bring that up, and that was what, like 5 years ago.
Right. They took him out the Hall of Fame, but they put him back in.
Yeah, I mean,
Like now when he comes around, I've seen, especially like when he's in Brooklyn, and it's a majority, a minority state, so city. So it's just like when he comes and his music hits, a lot of Black people don't get up, they don't cheer. We just sit there quiet, and it's just like because our viewership is what kind of made you. Like it wasn't just people, white people, it was people of color, and you literally disrespected people of color. So it's like, okay, you're here, when you leaving, like when you going about your business, so we can actually get back into entertainment, because you're not it for
every
us.
time he's on TV, you see mixed reactions on social media, the crowd, and you hear like how things are backstage. Like, and what she did was worse. I mean, she said it directly to someone versus just saying it in a conversation with a buddy, like, and she spit in someone's face. So this is way worse. Like, she pretty much killed her chance of ever coming to WWE. Not
Yeah,
saying that
she doesn't care.
but even
She
AEW,
truly doesn't care.
yeah, she's gonna have a pretty rough road ahead of her for quite some time, in my opinion. I think Impact in the independent circuit is all she's gonna
That's
do.
it.
Yeah, I don't know if she's gonna return to WoW. Last time she was on television there, she lost her title, so I don't know if that was her leaving or not. But yeah, I mean, she had a lot of doors closed on her because of this.
Well, watch what you say, and it won't come back to bite you.
Exactly, I couldn't agree more. So, Krista, do you have anything else that you wanted to touch up on this situation?
Just be on the lookout for those Wrestling Girls Real Talk episode about it, because we're gonna get in depth more about the situation, because we have a lot of hits on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook asking us what are our opinions, what do we think, and this was just a snippet. Like, we're gonna really dive deep into the Real Talk episode, so we're definitely just be on the lookout for that. It will definitely drop this week. Um, and me and P, we always are very boisterous and opinionated, and we're always gonna agree or disagree, or agree to disagree. But I feel like with this one, this kind of hits home for the both of us. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that.
All right, yeah, I'll definitely be looking out for that too. I love watching y'all, spit that game and all that. So I'll definitely be checking out
Mhm.
that episode, and make sure you all do that as well. And yeah, thanks again, Krista, for joining us today. You
Of
are my
course. Thanks
first
for
guest
having me.
on this series. Yeah, no problem at all. It's always fun chatting with you. So yeah, make sure you all follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Follow them on all the social media platforms as well. We're both on all of them. Look for us at Those Wrestling Girls and O Face Wrestling. And you all
Yep.
have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.